Exactly. Welcome to Porch Play Chat, sponsored by the American Association for Promoting a Child's Right to Play, or more affectionately named IPA-USA. IPA-USA is the USA affiliate of the International Play Association. You can find more about the International Play Association by going to ipaworld.org. As part of our efforts to promote play, we're happy to introduce these Porch Play Chats. And these are just conversations on a wide range of topics with experts who are just as passionate about play as we are. You can find the latest Porch Play Chats and learn more about IPA-USA by visiting our website at IPAUSA.org. And up in that top right-hand corner is our links to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page and our Instagram. And one Porch Play Chat is released every Monday on both Facebook and the YouTube channel. I'm Deb Lawrence, president of IPA-USA. And with me on the porch today, I've got to get my little screen up, is Robin Temple. And Robin has a master's degree in early childhood education and is passionate about early childhood education. And really, I couldn't believe how many children were in your family. She was the oldest of 9 children in a blended family. And so she discovered her passion for early childhood by being the oldest in that blended family. She became the director of the owner, director, and lead teacher of an NAEYC accredited program that was play focused and nature based and reggio inspired. I'm like, oh my goodness, everything I love, called Friendship Garden in Massachusetts. And currently, Robin is the executive director for the Northern Interior Association for the Education of Young Children and an adjunct at the University of Alaska Community and Technical College in the Early Childhood Department. And Robin, we are so happy to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Just amazing. This is a wonderful friend that helped us find you. And so Robin's topic is get out of the way. What does it look like to let children play all day in a predominantly outdoor program? So I'm really excited forced kindergartens are like some of my favorite places in the world. And I think every child needs one. So tell me more about that.
Yes, absolutely. So get out of the way. Get out of the way means let children play. It doesn't mean don't observe and add to and enrich and facilitate, but it means get out of the way, pause, pause, see what's going on before you do anything, before you say anything, add anything, touch anything, decide this is a teachable moment, put that all away, pause and see what the children are doing, what they are authentically doing. We don't maybe even know what they're learning. Like as facilitators and co-creators, adults in the environment, do we really know what they are learning as we, and this is kind of my new push, I don't know what they're learning. Right. I mean, I'm doing assessments and observations and I'm saying, oh, well, look at their, I don't know, they're learning one-to-one correspondence or something. I don't know if they're actually learning that. So now I am really getting out of the way. I am being, I'm just being the observer. It's very hard to be quiet. I've been very much practicing being quiet. They don't need to hear my voice. They don't need my interjection. Most of the time, at this time, where we're recording is the end of a school year, so we've been together a full year. They almost don't need me. I'm an extra in their environment, so I try to stay out of the way of their environment. So, in a nutshell, that's what I'm talking about by getting out of the way.
So tell me how, as a teacher, you were able to recognize that you were in the way. and what you had to coach yourself in doing every day, because I'm a Nana and I have 8 grandchildren and 3 of them live near me. And so we were at the park one day and Reagan, who's now 10, she was probably 2.5 or 3 then, wanted to go up the slide and I was in the way. And my husband, who is wonderful, said, "What's wrong with her going up the slide?" And I had to say, "Nothing." Why am I in the way? No, there's nothing wrong with that. She needs to be able to go up the slide. And I encourage teachers, why can't we go down the slide on Mondays and Wednesdays and go up the slide on Thursdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays? Why can't we? Why? Because we're in the way. It's not the way it's supposed to happen. So how do we help teachers?
Well, I think we have to first, it's such an excellent question. I think first we have to recognize that it's innate that we protect the young, our young. We're there to protect them. So for me personally, it was a process that began about 4 years ago. Well, I'm off track, 5 years ago or 6 years ago at this point. And my journey actually really began in an interview after I had left Massachusetts and I was looking for work in Alaska, where I followed my husband to his work. And I went on a job interview in the first time in 20 plus years because I own my own business. So I went on this job interview and I found myself authentically being me, like being able to step out and being authentically me. I actually even swore in that interview. It was such a passionate conversation. I thought, oh boy, that job just went away. And instead I landed that job at that moment because I was authentically being me. So my journey began sort of that day when I left my own school and was able to go into another one and see this whole new perspective. I started taking class. It's been a journey. It doesn't happen overnight to find that yes, it's okay for the children to explore, to adventure, to even take on that word risk, which I am adverse to. I don't like that word. But I don't expect anybody to do it overnight. So I started with some things just language-wise. My first year, going back in the classroom, working for another director, my first year was focused all on language only. And the small snippet that I started with was the getting rid of good job, not using the word good job anymore and not putting that praise, external praise conversation onto the children. So it began with that and recognizing exactly what they were doing all day long. And even though I was still kind of between being that teacher model that, us older folks were brought up with, but yet knowing all along the value of play. So I kind of started there with that language, and then I just immersed myself in constructivist theory, authors, podcasts, articles, books, talking with other play-based professionals. And it really, it's not quick, especially if you're really, we want to be protectors. So to sort of stand back and say, but wait, but pause, but stop. What's really happening here? And is it really a danger? Is it really a complicated problem? Even like a little tiff between children, why do we make it this big, complicated problem that, oh my goodness, they must learn this skill out of this particular exchange and we must help them? No, they work themselves right on through it and they come up with the best solutions, better than you ever would.
Yes. And so I want us to, I think that those baby steps and giving people permission that it takes time.
Yes.
Is really important. And I remember it was getting rid of no and saying yes.
Yes.
because I think we program children not to take risks, right? Because be careful, don't fall down, stop running. I hear parents say that, I hear teachers say that all the time, because we're fearful we love them, and we're fearful that they're going to come to harm, not recognizing that what we're doing is going to be more harmful later, when they might want to take risks that aren't climbing a tree or aren't running on the playground, right? Because they
Right.
haven't learned to manage risky things. And so as you're in an outdoor nature-based program, can you describe scenarios where you stood back and you paused so that children could experience what they needed to experience?
Oh, several, yes.
I
So,
figured you'd have many.
so we are nature-based, but not in a forest. So
Okay,
we're still in a wooded area, but it's a backyard. So
okay,
it's
that's
not,
fine.
it's a 1 acre piece of property. So we don't have a stream running through or big boulders. I'm trying to bring some of those elements to the place, but we don't have them naturally. But what we do have naturally is trees.
Mhm.
So I've had little tree climbers where, yeah, it's scary, and you want to be able to put your arms out or a big trampoline underneath to catch them. No one's ever fallen out of the tree.
Mhm.
They learn where to put each foot.
Mhm.
And if I do say anything, it's, do you see where your foot is going to land next? Or something like to point out that maybe, is that branch thick enough? Will
Mhm.
you test it first?
Mhm.
That kind of, and then I found, really, I didn't even need to do that. I was making the children, not smart, and they were, of course, 100% knew their capabilities.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then sticks. Sticks are a
Mhm.
naturally occurring play object on the playground. They fall out of our trees on a
Mhm.
daily basis, and often they get ripped out of our trees on a daily basis. And the children I guess it's almost innate. They innately know, they sense danger.
Mhm.
If that stick is coming close to their face, they zig, they zag, they duck, they move, they yell, that stick is close to my face. I mean, we try to teach the children the positive language too, instead of telling people no, no, no all the time. Tell them what
Mhm.
you need.
Mhm.
That stick is close to my face, or I'm afraid of that stick. Um,
Mhm.
Things like that, rather than just screaming, no, no. And do we scream, no, stop? Of course, that's going to get a teacher's attention. I'm in over my head. I
Mhm.
need
I
you.
need help. Yeah.
So yes, the negative, the no and the stop, it is really reserved for when we really need to step in. And
Mhm.
those are our cues from the children. So
Mhm.
we can hear their joy and their playfulness all day long, but if you hear that all of a sudden scream, you're needed.
Yes, right.
Instead
And
of hearing a lot of teachers say no, 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 no,
all the
we're
time.
trying to be quiet and just able to hear the child's no, and know that we need to rush in at that
Yes.
point.
And so the freedom, I think, that you're allowing children to manage their own bodies, to assess safety, right? And,
Mhm.
to explore their own internal drive. I remember climbing trees. We had pecan trees, right? So I can't even tell you how high. We had a 2-story house, and I was to the second story in height.
Yeah.
And nobody was standing there saying, be careful. No one was, and because I had the freedom to explore and be curious and say, I wonder if I could reach that next branch, I was able to self-assess, right? The impact of whether or not I was going to be able to do that.
That's
So
right.
I I think that's what we rob children of. Because we're so protective. Now, do we want them to fall from a second story tree? No. But I think sometimes when we're so careful with them, we might create an opportunity for them to fall from a second story tree because we haven't given them the opportunity to learn how to climb that
To
way.
learn.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so our
Definitely.
overprotectiveness is really increasing the risk instead of decreasing the risk
Right.
that
Right.
or the hazard that they might uncover. And so we've talked about sticks and we've talked about climbing trees. And are there any, so here's a question for me, because I think I love sticks and I see them, sword fighting all the time with them. And my heart is going, really fast. But is there guidance that you provide to them about why we have to be careful with sticks? Or is it that if you don't feel comfortable, you need to say stop to the children?
Well,
The
there's
child
always,
says that to somebody else.
right, right. There's always a little bit of guidance, but mostly it's um our our overarching rules of causing no harm
Mhm,
to each other and
mhm,
generally causing no harm to property. And,
mhm.
they do break sticks and branches, leaves get ripped off of trees. And I have to step back and not consider that a destruction of property, that it's an investigation. The children are investigating when they rip our plants out of the ground. And, that's another yes that I've had to find that's a discovery they needed to make. So we have
Mhm,
those two basic rules,
mhm.
and everything stems off of that. So the
And so
guidance might
expressly state the two rules for the audience. Do no harm to the environment and do no harm to each other
to each other.
is what I
That's it.
heard. So, which
Yes,
is perfect.
that's it.
And that's it. Those are the only rules.
That's it. So then if we see something that maybe is making our heart flutter,
Mhm,
we may say, are you considering harm to
uh-huh.
another person? Um, just to make them start to
To
think this
pause.
through, for them
Yeah,
to pause. A
yeah.
lot of times we say, what is your plan?
Mhm.
Just to sort of stop them in their tracks a little bit. I mean, it sounds, I don't know, you have to experience it, I guess, but they don't go after each other with sticks.
No.
They don't climb higher than they can climb.
Mhm,
They don't throw sand up in the air generally intentionally when someone else is standing right there.
mhm.
They know sand falls and gets in somebody else's eyes or hair, and they don't like it. I mean, we've had the experience. We experience it maybe that one time and then they don't do it anymore. Do they
Right.
throw up sand still? Sure, but they assess their environment. They say, oh, no one's around me, I'm gonna throw this up.
Mhm. And how
uh,
beautiful and what freedom, right? And it's not that it's a free for all. There are
it's not
rules.
a free-for-all.
You don't harm the environment and we don't harm each other. I walk into classrooms and there's like 22 rules on the wall and I'm like, how in the world?
Two.
Yeah, two rules. I had three. We keep ourselves safe, we keep our friends safe, we keep our things safe. Those
Yeah.
were, and now I would say maybe I shouldn't have said safe. Because and those were my prompts as a teacher. Are you keeping your friends safe when you made that choice, right? Or it made that decision? So,
We
some
evolve, don't we?
we do evolve because
Yeah,
I
we
don't think
learn.
safe is the I think that's adding to the risk averse sort of stuff instead of encouraging children to explore and be curious. So it's not, and I really want teachers to hear that it's not a free for all.
It's
What
not a free-for-all.
what I see happening when teachers are so structured and children actually have 20 minutes to play. I mean, I don't know what you can do in 20 minutes, but that's what their free play is. That's when I see a free for all because they're so frantic that
They're
they only have
frantic.
a short period of time instead of stepping back and saying, you have 2 hours, right? And then they don't feel so anxious, and they're focused, and they're exploring, and they're interacting, and they're, oh my goodness, it's amazing if we just give them permission. So can you describe the day in the nature-based program? Can you just give us an idea of what it looks like? How long is the day? What does the day look like, so the teachers have an idea of what you're talking about when you say the teacher steps back?
Yeah, so if we're in preschool level, so age 3 to 5, they are outside all day long unless it's an uncomfortably hot and humid day and they take their rest period indoors.
Okay.
But they're outside, so we greet the parents outdoors, and the children come in through the gate, and they choose whatever area of the yard that they want to start playing in. They ask us to take out bikes and balls, which are put away in the evening, and our metal Tonka trucks are put away in the evening. Some days they don't even ask for those for a few hours into the day, but they'll get busy in mud kitchen, sandbox, music area, art area, which is just free exploratory process art. Nothing is product driven.
Thank goodness.
They can help themselves to what was put out for the day, or they can help themselves to the things that are always out, which are markers, crayons, variety of paper, and easels with paint. If the paints are not there, they know the teachers haven't gotten to that paint yet, but they'll put that out. They have a group meet time. They can come to it or not. They have a story time. They can come to it or not. So everything that's indoors is outdoors.
Outdoors.
They have snack time outdoors as well. Pretty much any time they want to, they can go to their lunchbox and sit down. And one teacher sort of monitors the art and eating area. And then there's 2 others within this group, and we monitor separate areas of the playground. Standing back, but being in that quote area of discovery. They have lunch, a rest period, back outside to do whatever, continue from the morning time or start something new. Basically, we're also trying to be good stewards of the earth, so we collect our water from the rain. We don't run our hose and run water for them to gather. They gather it from the gutter, from the air conditioner pipes or hoses. The water drips out of that. They love that unit. They collect little cups of water, and it's enough for them. What else do they do? We offer sometimes sort of more, what is the right word? I mean, sensory items that are not of the natural world. I'm trying to provide sensory bins or things to do that are not, but so we may offer Play-Doh on occasion, but few times a month, that type of a sensory item.
Experience.
Yeah, but mostly our sensory is just nature.
And is it 9 to 5, 6:30 in the morning to 6 at
Oh,
night?
I forgot to say, it's 8:30 or 8 o'clock rather to 4:30.
Nice.
So
Nice.
8.5 hours.
Whether it's winter, North Dakota, I'm thinking North Dakota winter,
Winter.
or summer where it gets hot. Winter
Yes.
where it gets pretty darn cold in North Dakota. So, and parents bring them dressed appropriately for whatever the weather is.
They do. Well, the school's in Massachusetts.
Oh,
my husband's in North Dakota. School's in Massachusetts. So a little bit milder winter, but we do have our equipment lists for people, and to make ourselves completely accessible to any families, we do have our own supplies, coats, boots, hats, mittens, scarves, gaiters, extra clothes for the winter time. Summertime, just changes of clothes, t-shirts, shorts. And we do have people that don't have many changes of clothes. available
access.
to bring, to leave at school, or so we have our own sets of things. We have umbrellas for the ones that don't like to get wet. We have hats. Mostly the children don't mind. If it's a real downpour, we seek shelter or we go inside the school building.
Mhm.
We have that available to us. We just try not to use it. Now, when they do go in, it's like a holiday. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, wow, look at all this stuff inside. And I
Mm.
forgot to add that to our outdoor day. We do bring things outside. And I have a 8x10 green, what do you call that? AstroTurf type of a rug,
Okay.
a
Okay.
roll up. It's our old pool rug, which we don't use our pool. So we roll that out and we bring things out like our wooden train tracks or our own Mobilo or Lego or any small manipulative type of thing that they don't get a whole lot of time to use those manufactured type materials. So
Mhm.
that 8x10 rug does get those supplies, which are stored in our classrooms.
Nice.
So when they get an indoor day, they
They're
go right
excited.
to,
It's like,
they get very excited. They do use wooden blocks outdoors. We have outdoor set, and we have indoor set. Sometimes we combine for block building. We have a platform outside for block building. When they go in, they see the blocks. They build the same way indoors.
mhm.
But they love suddenly to be inside with the twinkle lights and a whole different environment for them. And in the winter, the winter months, probably probably January, February, March, we're in probably 50% of the day.
Mhm. And now 50%
Yeah,
just to,
between food, which is difficult for them to have outside. We haven't quite figured that out. Snacks, okay, but lunch, taking out lunch boxes and setting yourself up for lunch, it's difficult when it's cold for them. So
Mhm.
between lunch and nap, that takes up a rest for the older ones, nap for the younger ones. It takes up a good chunk of probably 3 hours of the day.
Mhm.
So then we get 3, 4, 5, depending on the weather, out.
Mhm. I think this sounds like an amazing program. And so my other question is, there's 3 of you, you said, I think, 3 of you
There's
in the,
3 of us,
and the group of children is about what size?
27.
27. So you've got a nice ratio there. And I know you said you had an acre of
Yes.
land. And so how do you zone that acre so that you're close but not intrusive and that you're standing back? And one person's by art and snack and things. So how do
Mhm.
you position? Because other people might want to say, we could do that. We have a big outdoor space, but
Right,
I'm not quite sure how to do it, right?
right.
And again, some forest kindergartens, children may not be in sight. They are within hearing distance.
Hearing.
Yeah.
We talk about that
So
often.
yeah. So how do you place yourselves or zone
So
yourselves?
we're probably about slightly over half an acre is where behind the school. So
Mhm.
the school building blocks, and then we are
And then
fenced.
you have, okay, got it. And you're
We are
fenced.
fenced for where we are.
Yeah.
We're in a residential area.
Okay.
Um, So it is fenced. And then basically it's about a third, a third, a third. So the art and food is up close to the building,
Mhm.
which is also the bathroom. We don't have an outdoor facility, so they do use the bathroom indoors.
Mhm.
So that teacher that's up closer to the building, art, food, and bathroom kind of monitors that. And then we have a driveway. It's an old building, and then the driveway used to go back to a big 2-car garage.
Mhm.
So we fenced it off, kind of like halfway down the driveway-ish, if you can picture a piece of property.
Mhm.
The driveway goes from the front of the building all the way around to the back of the building. So we blocked it off at near the front of the building. So
Mhm.
that whole back driveway down to the 2-car garage is where they do bikes and balls, basketball.
Nice. It's
tall.
paved. And they can do
Paved,
that.
that's the word, paved. So one teacher sort of that monitors that, the bike and ball and basketball sort of area. And then the third teacher monitors the climber. And we do still have 2 swings.
Oh, yay.
Yay. We're one of the only places in town that I think remains with swings. Out of 11, I think there were possibly 3 that
Oh,
have
my.
swings. We had enough room to be able to create the fall zones that were required. And
Mhm.
we did not want to get rid of them. So we created these huge fall zones for the swings and we keep them.
Great. Oh, that's so wonderful.
So the
You
third
know,
teacher's
again,
there, which is also has a couple of little playhouses and some very, very old metal spring horses.
nice.
Not the one that you're thinking like get your fingers caught in the springs like a
Mhm.
home one, but the old playground metal
These
horse
ones,
on
the
the
big,
big,
yeah.
huge
Mhm.
spring that
Uh-huh.
you just rock back and forth on. We have
Uh-huh.
3 of our 4 left. And it's a loved area, those little horses.
I
It's their
can't even
imagination.
imagine. Oh, of course they do. They're
Yeah.
going on adventures, riding their horses.
Yep. Right and
Love
left.
it. This has been incredible. I think what the goal of the Porch Play Chats is for teachers and directors and owners to have tools to use to maybe replicate some of the ideas that the Porch Play Chats are offering. And this was perfect. You gave us rules, you gave us the routine, you gave us how the outdoor is the classroom, you gave us how teachers supervise and observe children, you gave us the gift of the word pause in, I don't know how long we've been going, but not that long. And so these are the, you know, the tools that I think will support other people in trying.
Yes,
So
and baby steps.
they
Baby steps.
are baby steps,
Just take baby steps.
And I think I
You
always
get
go
there.
back because what I heard you say over and over again is what Bev Boz used to say. You need to trust children.
Trust them.
You need to trust them
Mm.
to
Good old Bev,
make
yes.
the right decision or to take a risk that they think they're capable and competent to do. So thank you. This
Thank
was
you. Come
amazing.
visit.
I
You gotta
know.
hang out.
I'm near Philadelphia, so that's a bit of a trek, but I have always wanted, I have never been to Massachusetts. I have never been, so it is certainly on my goal. So don't go anywhere while I close this up. So thank you for listening. If there's any, if you have any questions or would like to see more Porch Play Chats, make sure to go to our website. And, you know, we're always looking for people to join our nonprofit organization, so you can join us on that website. But until next time, thanks for listening and keep on playing.